Hello everybody, my name is Victoria. Today I'm going to go ahead and explain the Biostats question, but first thank you Dr. Randy Neal for providing us with this amazing opportunity. Come along with me.
Hello everybody and welcome back. This is the Biostats question I will be explaining. It reads, a new test to diagnose UTI in women is being assessed. The comparison gold standard is positive urine dipstick plus urine culture. Results are given below. So here we have our 2x2 table. The first thing I want to do is I want to direct attention to our top row, which is our gold standard diagnostic method. We know that this method of urine dipstick and culture is our preferred method of diagnosis, but we keep in mind that no test is perfect in revealing the universal truth, but we trust the gold standard to identify our diseased individuals with UTI when results are positive, and when results are negative, then that means they're healthy. So I'm going to go ahead and label here disease, or UTI in this case, and over here, healthy. So let's understand the true test results and false test results by labeling each individual box on our table. So when new tests are developed, we compare them to the gold standard to determine how accurate they really are. We compare our new test and the gold standard, and we label our boxes according to our symbols. I look for the symbols that coincide. So for example here, positive with positive, that's true positive, because in that case they're all true. And then negative with negative, that would be true as well, in this case negative. And then I go ahead and look at our healthy individuals here, and I say, wait a minute, so they're healthy, yet our test is showing a positive result. So then that's false. So that'd be false positive. And finally, we look at our gold standard here. It's positive, saying they do have UTI, yet our test is negative. So that'd be false negative. Once we labeled our table, we can proceed to plug in the numbers given in the chart in the Biostats equation to assess the accuracy of our new test. So when we solve for sensitivity, remember that we are measuring the accuracy of the new test. Sensitivity is the ability of the new test to correctly identify people with the disease. And looking at our equation, this is true positive over true positive plus false negative. So right off the bat, one of the things that I would do before, so it would make these two equations easier, is I'd go ahead and add these two numbers and these two numbers, because that way it'll give us the total of our diseased individuals, which in this case is 500, and the total of our healthy individuals, which also is 500. Once I do that, I move on to my equation here, and I know that true positive, false negative, that's 500, that goes on the bottom, it's our diseased individuals. And then we look for our true positives, in this case it's 400, times that equals 0.8 times 100 equals 80%. So this means that we have an 80% true positive rate for our new test. We move on to solve for specificity, which is the ability of the new test to correctly identify those who do not have the disease. What is the ability of the new test, to find true negatives? So we can go ahead and plug in those numbers as well. We have true negative and false positive, which goes at the bottom, and that's 500, that's our healthy individuals. And then we look for true negative, in this case is 450. Once we divide, we get 0.9 times 100 equals 90%. So we have a 90% true negative rate. For our new tests. Remember that tests with a high degree of specificity are great for confirming screening methods and great diagnostic tests. Okay, now we can move on to solving for predictive value equations, which is the question of how good a given test result is at predicting the true likelihood that a person has a disease or does not have the disease. This depends on the prevalence of the disease in the population that we are testing. I want to point out that prevalence because when we solved the sensitivity and specificity equations, these test measures were constant and did not take into account prevalence of disease in population. So when we solve for a positive predictive value, we know that this is a proportion of true positive over all test positive, all who tested positive. So our true positive in this case is 400. So we can go ahead and plug in 400 here. And to make matters easier, I can go ahead and add up all our positives here, which is, sorry about that, this is 450 in total. And then all our positives here, which are 550. That way I can go ahead and come back later and use this for our negative predictive value. Anyway, so like I said, all our positives are 450. So we plug that in. And we get 0.89 times 100 equals 89%. And finally, we move on to our negative predictive value. And to solve for that, like I said before, we come and look at our chart. We already add these numbers up. False negative plus true negative, that's 550. That goes at the bottom. And true negative is 450, according to our chart. And when we solve for that, we get 8.82 times 100 equals 82%. And I do want to point out one thing. If UTRs are low in prevalence in test population, then we may have a lower than desired positive predictive value in this case, as the one over here. And that concludes my explanation. Hope you guys have a great day. Hey, you forgot this. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Please make sure to give this video a like.